Well, talking of that, there's been a certain amount of criticism of the trends of American influence on things like horror comics, and indeed on the films. Do you feel that there's anything really, when you get down to it, in the suggestion that American influence is towards a spread of juvenile delinquency through the world?
I don't think that horror films or horror comics contribute to juvenile delinquency. I think that they may encourage psychotics and homicidal and other dangerous types. But juvenile delinquency is, I think, a symptom of the illness of our age. It doesn't come from lack of playgrounds or bad comic books, but of a great longing for youth to have something to rebel against.
You wouldn't say that children are imitative and that they tend to imitate what they see or read?
If they were, they would have come from the bear pits and the Globe Theatre and committed some rather extraordinary acts in the Elizabethan days, you know.
You don't think that the glorification of violence, which is shown even in some of the westerns, gives them ideas? It would make them think they like to shoot from the hip, or...
Well, you see, I think...
draw and this sort of thing.
I think that all vital periods of the drama and of literature are periods of great violence, and that all of our great plays and novels are violent. And I don't like them when they are poor novels, or when they are not works of art. They become shoddy and seem to be pandering.
Yes, but usually
wicked, you know.
Virtue triumphs, whereas in the horror comics it doesn't.
Doesn't it?
I don't think so, no.
No, not really.
Well, it doesn't in Edgar Allan Poe either, you know.
No. But you were not brought up on horror comics. They didn't have them when you were a boy in America.
No, I don't suppose. They had, you know, they had horror stories and horror films. I'm not for them. I'm very much against violence and brutality as a popular subject. I think it is overexploited. I quite agree with that.
Would you prohibit horror comics?
I wouldn't prohibit anything. I'm very much against censorship.
Even for children?
It's a very, very difficult question.
Very difficult point.
But you see, I don't think children were ever hurt by Grimm. And I remember that the end of Snow White in Grimm, the real end, not the Disney one, is when the witch is given red-hot iron shoes to dance in until she dies. Everybody's terribly happy about it. I don't think it made any delinquents out of them. I think children are violent.